The Brett Cooper Daily Wire back and forth. It's not really a back and forth, but it takes an interesting turn as Reagan's cousin steps in to offer some information about all of this. And just for the record, ultimately, this is two young girls in their early 20s being young girls in their early 20s. There's a lot of crazy statements made in this video. I just think are just dumb. I don't want to watch the whole video. Can I just be honest? Can we just like jump ahead? Because she just kind of says a whole lot of stuff.
She kind of rambles in the beginning. She was such a good friend to her.
Yeah. So this is Reagan's new host of the comment section. She was Brett's old producer, took over the show, cousin, and she gives a bit of the backstory of what happened. Okay, and it's very interesting to say the least. So if you guys don't know, Brett Cooper left Daily Wire. It's a whole thing. And her best friend took over. Brett unfollowed her. She's getting toasted, roasted in the comment section. And it's really sad because could Brett have prevented this? Was it really amicable and then Brett decided to take it personal? You know? And I'm excited to bring you guys our very first 3-day conference called the Bless God Summit happening March 27th, 28th, 29th in Southern California. And at this conference, we'll have your very own Preston Perry.
Me as an evangelist, I've made it up in my mind that I'm not going to leave people with an excuse not to serve Jesus.
Dr. Sean McDowell.
If there's one thing Christians should care about, it's truth.
Our vision with this conference is to equip, empower, and inspire people to do the work of the ministry that God has for them in this time. And at this conference, we'll have your very own Alan Parr and his wife, Jim Parr.
The number one reason, people want to get divorced because they want to find someone else who can make them happy. Now, what they don't realize, they're chasing the wind.
John McCrae from What Do You Mean?
What you may be shocked, or you may not be shocked to know, is that the majority of Christians in America, they don't know how to articulate the message of the gospel to non-believers.
Lila Rose.
Love and marriage go together, that sex and marriage go together, that sex can bring life into the world, and that's an amazing thing, that's not a bad thing.
Trizzle Fitness.
Most people fail at dieting because they're just trying to lose weight too fast. What are you in such a rush for?
But where a lot of people get stuck is figuring out what it looks like to walk in that. And so these 3 pillars of our conference will be covering everything from apologetics to family in the home and the marketplace, and how you can lean into those 3 pillars to discover your calling on this side of eternity.
The internet, especially Brett Cooper stans, have been up in arms over the fact that Brett Cooper recently decided to leave. There's been a lot of speculation over what happened, why did Brett leave? The speculation unfortunately turned into rumors, and then the rumors were taken and ran with to the story I'm about to tell you. So here's where Reagan's part comes in. Reagan was the producer of the comments section. Like I said, they were best friends. So whenever Brett decides to leave, Brett recommends to the Daily Wire that Reagan step in and be the substitute host for a period of time. So Reagan, with her friend's blessing.
So earlier in this, she says Brett decides to leave, and it was 100% her decision.
Yeah, that's the claim. They won't say why she decided to leave, but that is what's being said. And again,
but the rumors were that she was forced to say that.
Yeah, I don't think she was forced to stay or go. I think she probably got married, wanted to move on a farm, and probably just didn't want to commute 4 days a week to wherever she's at. Who knows how long that drive is?
Seriously.
You know what I mean? And so it was probably very amicable. Maybe there was she wanted a Jordan Peterson type of arrangement. You guys come to me and do my show at my house.
That sounds great.
Right? And Daily Wire mismanaged their relationship and her value. Maybe that's also possible. But at the end of the day, she decided to leave. They couldn't come to terms, and she decided to walk away from the negotiations, according to this young lady.
Decides that she is going to do this, and she loved it. Reagan has always loved the Daily Wire. While Brett decided to step away, Reagan has always really enjoyed her time there. And I personally have witnessed how much Reagan loves to do research on Republican media. She loves...
Well, first of all, Republican media?
Ugh.
I don't know about...
We can list that as a hobby now?
Can we not call it that? That's brutal. I don't think anyone over there would be like, I make Republican media. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not even part of that, and I feel like that's yucky to say.
Yeah.
All things Republican news. So this was perfect.
Her forearms are cold.
For her. I've watched her grow and flourish with the Daily Wire, and she has literally just stepped into each position full force, and she absolutely loved her time being able to be the substitute host. However, that being said, Reagan wanted them to continue searching for other hosts that could actually step in full-time. So she's the substitute host while they're doing this search, and they decided they didn't like any of the other host options. They wanted Reagan. So the Daily Wire reaches out and offers the position to Reagan.
Reasonable. Hire inside the company.
I wonder if Brett knew this was going on. I wonder if Brett ever gave her blessing. And if she didn't give her blessing, I wonder if 10 years down the road she regrets it.
Like, just let her.
Reagan could have went on to take over the show, and it would have been good had Brett been like, guys, this is my best friend. Listen, I'm just in a different season of life. I'm gonna live on a farm. I'm gonna be a mom. We're gonna have to rearrange this, but like Daily Wire, Reagan, they got my love. I'll even appear on the show. And she didn't do that. Now, I don't know why she didn't do that, but had she done that, because she didn't do that, is that something she's gonna regret 10 years from now?
That's a good point.
You know?
Yeah, probably.
Go ahead.
Now, Reagan is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Brett has told Reagan that she wants Reagan to come with her, to leave the Daily Wire with her. And she told her that she could be her producer. However, that being said, it would be months before Brett knew of what she wanted Reagan to exactly be doing. It would be months until Reagan got paid by Brett. And also...
Because she would be going to work at a startup.
Yeah.
Now, some people would say, that's your day one. That's your bridesmaid. That's your best friend. You ride it out.
Or also, like, do you like the corporate life, or do you want
to be a part of a startup?
Yeah, be part of, like, not even just a start. It's like what we do. This is like way more fun than a cubicle and and like a glass offices. You know what I'm
yes, saying? But if you live in Nashville, you're acclimated to that lifestyle. You're already there, and someone's like, "Go do this thing in a dude's garage."
It's that so spooky.
You know,
you're giving up your dream job to go work in a barn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everyone has different
preferences.
Guys, we all have a higher risk tolerance. Everyone that works here has a higher risk tolerance because we know how close to the edge things can be. Right?
Yeah.
When we doing these sales,
like, woo!
We know how close to the edge things can get.
Yeah.
You know? So, what do you want? What do you want from people? Like, some people have different risk tolerance.
Yep.
You know?
Reagan would not be getting as much.
That new show, the comment section with Reagan Conrad, flopping. She still got a job.
She still got a job. She still got a paycheck.
That AdSense doesn't have to pay her rent.
AdSense ain't got to pay the rent.
Much pay from Brett, that's for sure. The Daily Wire is able to pay her a great sum of money. Brett wouldn't be able to pay her quite as much. While Brett is doing quite well for herself, it wouldn't be able to be quite as much. So Reagan would be taking a significant pay cut. Now, my cousin is doing fantastic in life, but I don't know about you. Most people cannot just take several months off of work. So all of that considered, along with the fact that Reagan loves what she's doing, she believes in the Daily Wire, and she really enjoys being in front of the camera. She loves it. You can watch, guys. Like, everybody's accusing her of having acting classes.
The point she made is like most people can't just take months and months and months off of work to go do a startup.
That is a great point.
Now, here's the flip side to that. And I'm not trying to be insensitive. If you're working your dream job and you're a producer at the Daily Wire, and they did that for 2 years, and you're in your early 20s, my question would be like, why not? You don't got kids, you don't got a family, you're making great money. Why don't you have 12 months of emergency fund? Why aren't you living below your means and you can go start that venture, and perhaps in Brett's thing, you become an owner? Perhaps
Ruslan just said she needs to call into Dave Ramsey.
Might need to go to the other company in Nashville and sit down with Uncle Dave and get your money right.
Great. That's great.
You know?
Yeah.
What do you think she was making? She's probably making six figures, if not multiple six figures.
Definitely 6 figures, and living in
Nashville.
And in Tennessee. They're out of Nashville too.
Yeah, in your early 20s.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me you don't have 6 months of living expenses in your early 20s making crazy money like that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know her situation.
I don't know her situation.
But, I also know lifestyle creep is a real thing.
That's true. But to counter, if she does love her job, she loves the Daily Wire.
That's a better argument.
Yeah. If she really does love it, then it's like, wait, I got to leave and take a pay cut, and the job I already love is offering me an even better position. It's like, it's not.
Yeah, that's a way better argument, in my opinion.
That is how Reagan's always been. That's how she's always spoken. Yes, maybe they have some of the same mannerisms. They've been best friends. Who of you has a best friend and doesn't start kind of talking like them? You usually have the same lingo. So
and this is where I hear her, because the statement that she went to get acting classes to act like her best friend, that's crazy.
And if she's helping script the show and write the show and do all that stuff, like, her voice is already going to be in it, even when Brett Cooper's delivering the lines.
Yes, and that was mainly everyone's biggest issue is, really? Y'all got this girl acting classes? JP Spears, that was his biggest concern, was like, that's the only area where they took an L.
Yeah.
Is if Daily Wire actually did that.
acting classes, rumor, It's just that. It's a rumor. Reagan has never had acting classes. She literally just does speak that way. That's how she is. Anyways, you can tell she loves it. She loves being in front of the camera. So she decides...
Shout out to Bourbon Base. He said Zach totally took acting classes to be more like Ruslan. No.
I need a...
Absolutely not.
Yeah, guys. Proverbs says... That's the worst Ruslan impression ever.
Rock in a hard place and does not want to offend Brett. She decides to take the position because she's meant for it, guys. I don't know how to explain to you.
That. Men for it?
Men for it.
That's a bit much there.
Check this out.
I've watched Reagan grow over the course of her time there, and she
acting like this is a daggone maid of honor speech. Listen to this.
used to be so afraid to speak up about her views. She actually came to me at one point when I was starting to do social media, and I was always talking about being a Republican and talking about my views. She came to me and said, Rye, how do you do that? Like, how do you unashamedly talk about your views and not worry about offending people? And I was just like, you can't worry about it. Like, you got to be true to yourself. She grew from that over the course of the Daily Wire, being able to completely speak up about her feelings, speak up about what she knows, and be such a solid voice for Republicans, especially young female Republicans. She is a huge voice and makes a massive impact. Even as producer, she was doing that behind the scenes. She was doing that on her Instagram stories. So those of you accusing her of just stealing this role, she's meant for it. You just haven't given her a chance.
I could see how this is all true from her perspective. She's been probably writing, producing, maybe even scripting some of the words that
for the comment
were
section
coming out of Brett
Cooper.
Yeah, coming out of Brett Cooper's mouth. And then she didn't handle it as well as she could have been, as delicate as she should have been with her best friend. And now you're in this weird situation, and because of it being mismanaged, like, folks aren't even giving her a chance.
Yeah. If there was a handoff with Brett to Reagan, I think the views would have been way up.
Yeah.
A couple 100,000 views per episode. You know, so is Brett being petty?
It sounds like Brett's being kind of petty.
It
sounds like they're
from the cousin's view,
yes.
Reagan's cousin's view.
Yes, from Reagan's cousin's view. If what she is describing here is true, no acting classes. She really tried to be delicate. Unfortunately, Brett was never cool with it because she wanted her to go with her. And yeah, I mean, she is kind of being petty.
Kind of like a little college drama vibe, a little bit.
I'm trying to think of a parallel example.
Where were you gonna go though?
I was gonna go like Andrew Schultz leaves Flagrant.
Okay.
And he's leaving Flagrant, and so in him leaving Flagrant, he's like, guys, Akash, he's taking over. He's the guy. You know what I mean? And like, he wouldn't just throw those guys out there and just bounce from his own podcast and leave everyone out to dry.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Like, that's not what good friends do for other good friends.
Yeah. Brett Cooper definitely cooked this channel.
Yeah.
I mean, even if there was something good or bad happening, it was all within her power to hand it off.
Yeah.
And she, whether this is the accurate account or not, she chose to flame this, to burn the bridge.
Yeah, which, again, zoom out, 10 years from now, they're both in their 30s. They're both moms. They're both juggling their entrepreneurial. I don't know about stay at home. But they're both married, entrepreneurs, have their own things going. How do they look back at this? You know, how do they look back at the situation? That's how I try to think of it. Because I will say that as someone that's gone through similar stuff with music and business, the stuff that you were mad about in your 20s and when you were just starting to get your start, and the stuff you fought tooth and nail over is not stuff that matters when you are on the other side of it. And those relationships, those friendships are way more important than whatever issue they had within the Daily Wire. They just mean more.
Yeah.
You know? And so, and some of this stuff can't be undone.
Yes.
You can't undo this stuff. Like their friendship will never be the same.
You will forever always have the episode where you wore blue in your last episode.
You wore blue and you blinked twice. You know, in 5 years, will we even be talking about Brett or Reagan? I mean, that's a good question, Ron. But think of it this way. People could have said the same thing about Candace Owens 5 years ago. And as much as I completely find her views around Israel deplorable, she's very relevant. She's bigger than she's ever been. So likely, both of these folks will probably continue doing their thing and continue. You know, hopefully Reagan can figure out how to maneuver around this. But that's the part where I just go, man, you guys were tight. You know, you guys were tight. And this sort of stuff doesn't matter down the road. The friendship is more valuable.
Yeah, just let it rock out.
Yeah, over the little petty disagreements. You know, and anyway, I'm just in a spot where I've just learned to genuinely, and I'm not perfect at this, but genuinely, I don't fight with people over money. I don't fight with people over money. I don't fight with people over splits.
I want $1 million.
We'll make it happen. Get you your farm. We'll get you your farm. I promise. We'll figure it out.
Just completely abusing someone's communicated.
You know, we'll figure it out. But maybe that's the.
We'll figure it out.
Maybe that's the. I don't know. Maybe that's the flip side of like not needing much. I don't need much. I don't need a bigger house.
Don't need a limousine.
I don't need a limousine. Hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Please be sure to comment below and subscribe and all that good stuff. And check out this other video that YouTube seems to be recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.